Hello everyone, this is Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So once again, we are here with you all to discuss the success story of one more achiever of our, and this time we have with us Mr. Kaushik Gopalan, who is the head HR International Markets of New Star, a TransUnion company. So, Mr. Kaushik is a fierce friend, a proud father, and a passionate HR professional who strives to do the right things for the people and businesses alike. With over 20 years of experience in HR, he has worked in various areas across the talent landscape in India and in the overseas market. He currently works as a senior director at New Star, a TransUnion company, and is a speaker at multiple events, a columnist in the leading magazine. But before we actually start the conversation with him, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hi, sir, how are you?
I'm doing well, Varsha. Thank you for having me.
Right, sir. So before we actually start the conversation, I'm very keen to know that how did you actually choose this particular profession for yourself?
I think that's a great question. Mine is a very interesting journey to get into the human resources function. Um, I did my schooling, and my father was a retired general manager from Central Bank of India, and I was always fascinated by the accounting banking world as early as eighth standard, and I knew that it was probably something which I was going to do. And in those days, the off beaten path was to go and take the science group, but I kind of early knew very early that I was probably going to go take the commerce group. I did my bachelor's in commerce from Vivekananda College. I did my schooling from Padma Seshadri in Chennai, and then I started to do my chartered accountancy and cleared my foundation, but I didn't feel that was my calling in terms of what I wanted to do, and I didn't find fulfillment. And I went and spoke to a few people, a professor in my school, and a couple of my friends, and a lot of them said that, look, you have very natural leadership capability. You're good at organizing things. I think you should try your hand at management. And when I started to understand and read more about my management, my brother was doing his MBA entrance at that particular moment in time, and he was a big influence in terms of what management is about. And then I started to understand more about human resources and what it was, and how you can actually make a difference to people and also help organizations be successful as well. So this is something which I tried and tested with a few people, and a lot of people said, listen, you're very natural at this. And I then sought some advice from my parents. My father was has been in multiple positions. His job was dealing with people, so he said, this is an area I think you could excel in. And my grandfather as well was a big influence in my life, and that's how I landed up in HR. And I'm thrilled with my choice.
Lovely, sir. So, nothing comes that easy to us, and I'm pretty sure that you must have also had certain sort of challenges in your professional role. So, tell us a bit about those challenges that you have to face so far in your professional journey.
Sure. I think for me, ever since I started my career in 2000, the one of the biggest things has been dealing with change. I started my career in the BPO industry, and the first few years in the BPO industry was just all about change. In early 2000s, there was so much happening with regards to the people, the business models, and the whole landscape. And I think even as a country, we were only about 10 years removed from the whole liberalization regime, so to speak. So dealing with so much of change with regards to people, process, technology, um, has been a very interesting but also an exhilarating experience. Not only do you have to adapt to the changing business needs, but you also have to adapt to the changing needs of people, the changing needs of what employers want versus what employees want, and adapting to that, I think, has been one of my significant challenges. So I have done all kinds of roles, right, from organizing events to signing Form 16s for many people, to taking Xerox copies and delivering them, to actually delivering value for employees, coaching, mentoring, counseling employees, leaders, managers. And my journey, I think, has been unique as compared to, I think everybody's journey is extremely unique. So I was in the BPO industry, then I went to the IT industry, and I've been there ever since. But the constant need for change, adaptability, pre-COVID and now post-COVID, I think those two words have been something which has been constant in my career, and it's been such an amazing learning journey when you think about it. You've had to adapt from paper organization to paperless organizations. You've had to adapt to various leadership styles, but in the process, what I've also enjoyed is I've also enjoyed how my own personal style, my leadership style, has grown. And now I'm in a position where I'm learning, but I'm also able to pass on some of these learnings to people who are entering the field. I mentor several junior HR professionals. I speak in many colleges. I speak in many forums. I talk to a variety of people, and I think it's in today's age, it's more about learning from each other. So I really enjoy those aspects of um, ability to share information, because as we grow, I think that learning platform is going to be much more collaborative, and the world we live in now demands that. So from Gen Y, it will to baby boomers, to Gen X, to Gen Y, to Gen Z, and now millennials. The learning is constant, and that's something which I'm really enjoying.
Very, very rightly said, sir. One should always keep learning new things for sure. So now moving ahead and talking about your current organization. So what sort of services and products, you and your company provides to people out there? So if you can elaborate a bit about those things.
Sure. So I work for a company called New Star. New Star is part of the TransUnion Group, and if you've heard the word Sybil, TransUnion owns about 90% of Sybil in India. And the vision of TransUnion is something is to really to provide an opportunity for every single customer to be represented in the marketplace, and enable customers and organizations to have trusted points of connection. So if you really think about it, it's all about making sure that there is trust possible between businesses and communities, by ensuring every consumer is reliable and safely represented in the marketplace. So what we do is we make sure that we have a accurate representation of every person on the financial space, and we have various products and services that help us do that. So in simple terms, all of us have our aim is to make sure everybody has a CIBIL score, and in the process, everybody becomes financially independent.
Lovely, sir. So now, talking about the future, everyone do plans for it. So what further plans are you having for the company or for yourself in the upcoming years? So if you can share a few of those plans with us as well.
Sure. From my organization perspective, I'm extremely excited to talk about TransUnion's vision and mission and journey in this whole process. TransUnion, outside of our US markets, India is one of the largest markets. There is huge opportunity. There is a strong commitment to make sure that we are really being financially inclusive of every single person in the India market, and we have many plans with regards to how we want to serve the market. So if you think about TransUnion and the growth story, we were about 1,000 people, about 500 people, or a couple of years back, and today we stand at about 3,000 people in the country. So huge growth plans, huge opportunities, lots of products and services, and we think that the India market could be an extremely big market for us as we kind of look to serve multiple sectors, multiple economies, and multiple industries. For me, my personal growth plan is been, I think the velocity of change and velocity of learning continues to keep me constantly challenged. I do read, and I think the amount of great content that's coming out, it's becoming a challenge to keep up to all the content that's coming. But I think my biggest question for myself is how do I keep myself future ready? In terms of how the industry is going, what skills do I need to have? How do I need to think about leadership? And also start thinking about how can I contribute back to the society? And I do my own piece in my own small way. But those are questions for me as I enter into the next decade of my career and really start thinking about leading and driving things of value to my company, but also to the society at large. And most importantly, be a good example for my daughter. I think it's very important.
Right, sis. And I wish you all the luck for all the plans that you have in the coming future.
Thank you.
Right, sir. So now, moving ahead and talking about this pandemic situation, these gone 2, 3 years has made us all realize that rather than being dependent on somebody, it's very important for all of us to become, Atmanirbhar. So, what do you have to say on this concept of becoming self-reliant, and also how is your organization working towards this?
Yeah, I think the Atmanirbhar mission is a mission that I relate to very closely. One of the things that I have been talking to or becoming aware about is our own independence. And I think the pandemic, when we talk about independence, we tend to talk about our physical health and mental health. And but I think what the pandemic did was it also brought a lot of the financial health and the financial inclusivity into the mainstream. And one of the things that TransUnion is extremely keen is to enable each and every single person in India to be financially included in the whole marketplace. So what that means is that every single person should have an ability to have a CIBIL score. And if you have a CIBIL score, then you should have the ability to make the right decisions in terms of what products you need to consume so that you are being financially independent. And I think that's a mission that we have been trying to drive. And you will see TransUnion make a lot of progress. We have a lot of investment going on in our technology teams. We have a lot of information that's out there in public consumption. But more importantly, I think we are thinking about the society as a whole. So, regardless of your profession, if you're a farmer or you are a driver or you're a software engineer or you are any profession, you should be able to think about yourself independently from a financial perspective. So, I'm looking forward to India really becoming self-reliant when it comes to financial education, investments, because I think that will drive a lot of growth as we remove the pressure on government spending and we start doing a lot of activities ourselves from a longer term mission and becoming a very self-sustaining society.
Absolutely, sir. So now moving ahead and talking about this 75th year of independence that we have celebrated just a few days back. So, like this, obviously, this Mahotsav is like famously known as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So, what do you have to say on this, as in how far we have come, and what is your vision pertaining to this?
When I was consuming all the content for the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it makes your chest swell with pride when you think about how far the country has come. In a world context, we're still a youngish democracy. We've been independent India only for the past 75 years. But when you look at the achievements that we have made in terms of technology, in terms of engineering, in terms of all the other medical fields and etc., who would have thought that we would have been able to develop an indigenous vaccine in 2 years and or less than 2 years with Covaxin, and actually administer it to so many people and actually be the provider to so many different markets. These are all things that really make me swell with pride. And and I strongly believe that a core of our democracy is the people. We have strength in numbers, and I think we have a huge opportunity for us to be world leaders in many spaces where I think where we need solutions, be it clean energy, be it renewable sources of energy, be it driving what TransUnion is driving in terms of financial inclusivity for all the for everybody in the population. The strength of India has always been its people. We won our freedom because of the strength of our people, and we will, I think, drive this country forward. Our day Prime Minister said in 25 years we should become a developed country, and I think that's a mission that all of us should get behind and try to see how we can do our own part in driving towards that mission. And I have no doubt that I think we have the capability for us to get there.
Absolutely, sir. We do have the capability to achieve any goal that we, put the target on. So now comes the question which I, personally love to ask our awardees, and that is, what is your feeling on winning this Man of Excellence award for yourself?
Well, I think first of all, thank you to IAF for recognizing my achievements. I feel humbled. I feel proud. I am extremely conscious about what I've done, and I think this is only going to make me propel my energies forward in terms of doing more, and also doing more larger in the larger context of the larger society in general. But it's certainly very it's a big honor, and my parents are extremely delighted by it. My dedication for this honor goes to my guru, who is unfortunately not here anymore. He lost his life due to COVID, but I know he's up there, he's watching me, and I'm sure I have his blessings.
True, sir. And I once again congratulate you on this achievement of yours.
Thank you, Varsha.
Right, sir. So now, as we have discussed a lot about your professional journey so far and also the future plans that you are having, tell us a bit about the social contribution too that you are making to the society.
Yeah, I think for me, education has been a huge passion area for me. I've always been associated with colleges, schools. My wife is a teacher; she's an passionate educator, and it is an area that we continue to support. We support a lot of lower income families by providing them with not just financial assistance, but also with assistance around actual teaching of concepts. And I also visit a few of these institutions to help them to think about the future. And what is really exciting for me is that a lot of the progressive institutions are thinking about things like innovation, creativity, in areas where I think there is a huge need. And I think India has a huge opportunity to be the entrepreneurship capital of the world, because we have such great minds, and we have an opportunity for us to harness those talents and really find solutions in any space, be it the agrarian space, be it in the actual space stations. And there are a lot of people now who are coming forward to help and mentor students and mentor kids. So it's an area that I'm passionate about. I have some associations with a couple of these institutions. And the other area that I'm also starting to get interested in is, in terms of the senior citizens, and how can we harness that talent. There is a lot of talent amongst people who have retired in banks or other places, and we're trying to see how we can harness that talent and not just look at that sector of the population. I think they are an active population who can actually contribute to the society. So more to come. There are some ideas floating around, and I would love to kind of get associated with that as well.
Right, sir. So now, before concluding our lovely session, what message or mantra you would like to give to a younger generation to become successful in their careers?
Oh, I think this is something which I was talking to a few students a couple of weeks back. I think the thing I would say is, um, stay curious, question, ask the right questions, make sure that you are trying to understand concepts, drive deep before you start making opinions. Second thing is, don't be afraid of hard work. I think this generation is naturally talented. I think with the every generation there is an evolution. I think this generation is way ahead of curve when it comes to adopting of new practices, policies, and just experimenting with various technologies and finding really effective ways to live life. So hard work is really really important. And the third one is to think about the community at large. You don't have to wait to be 40 years old or 50 years old. I'm really proud to see some of my friends children or the schools are already professing for us to contribute to the society at large, be it the environment or be it helping certain sections of the population. So when you think about society at large, as well as you try to move this country and the world forward. So those would be my three key messages.
Lovely, sir. And I'm pretty sure that these words of yours will surely be helping out the youngsters out there. So thank you so very much for your time today. It was pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors as well. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Varsha ma'am. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.